So I've got a little predicament. I've been trying to decide which lens to keep, which lens to send back. Picked up basically two of the same lenses. We got right here the Canon RF 24-105 and the Canon EF version 1 24-105. Now I've seen lens comparisons done between the version 2 of the EF lens and the RF, but I haven't seen any comparisons done with this, I believe, 12-year-old lens compared to the newer RF version of it. And so I think there's some value in comparing the most budget. You can pick this lens up for like $400, 24-105 lens, comparing it to the most expensive 24-105 lens that Canon offers, which is this guy. I think it's like $1,200 new, but if you look for it used, you can usually find some pretty decent deals on it. When it comes to design and size, both lenses are about the same height, without the EF adapter, mind you. And then fully extended, the EF lens is significantly shorter by about maybe 3/4 of an inch or so. The EF version 1, when it comes to the close focusing distance, it does advertise it being somewhat of a macro lens on the side of the lens. But when I did my testing, I found the close focusing distance to be basically identical, and I can verify that on the screen right here. Continuing with some of the physical features, filter thread size is the exact same, 77 millimeters on both lenses. They both sport weather sealing with the rubber gasket on the lens mount. They both have image stabilization and USM silent autofocus, although the RF version has the Nano USM, more recent rendition of Canon's speedier autofocusing lenses. It's just more silent. I can't really hear the motors at all when I've used this lens, and I've actually bought the RF 24-105. This is the 4th copy of it that I've bought. I recorded an entire music video using just this lens. I think it turned out fantastic. It was shot in the R6. And so when it comes to like the pixel peeping sharpness tests of the 24-105 RF versus the EF version 1, I think I would agree that the RF is significantly sharper than the EF lens, but I don't know if that extra bit of sharpness warrants an $800 price difference. You can basically get 2 of these used for the price of 1 of these used. Now I'd like to talk about some of the usability differences when it comes to determining which lens is best for you. Now with the 24-105, just off the bat, for any camera manufacturer, any brand, whether you're shooting Sony, Canon, or Nikon, it doesn't matter. What the 24-105 really is useful for is the pinnacle of why a zoom lens exists. It's for ultimate convenience, having the ability to go through a wide range of focal lengths with one lens that you don't have to be swapping lenses. And that's ultimately why, again, zoom lenses were created, was to make run and gun photography and videography a little bit easier on the shooter. That's why I've chosen to use the 24-105 f4 as opposed to getting a 24-70, because I want to use a zoom lens for what I want to use a zoom lens for, and I want to use fast, sharp primes for everything else. Like for example, we're shooting this video on the Sigma 35 f1.4. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a shoot in downtown Minneapolis. It's a prayer march, and because it's more of the run and gun aspect of videography, I won't really get do-overs at a prayer march. Everything's kind of authentic and you get one chance. I'm going to be bringing my 24-105 and also my 70-200. Both are zoom lenses, both are going to be convenient and help me get shots that I can't really move my body positioning wise, where having the ability to zoom in and change focal lengths, thus changing shots, is going to be very useful. Okay, obviously if you're getting a zoom lens, you probably know why you're getting a zoom lens, so we're going to move on from there. Now, the pros and cons. Pros of choosing the EF lens over the RF, and the version 1 be it, are 1, it is shorter when zoomed out, but when you factor in having to use an adapter, it is longer. 2, it's way cheaper. I already discussed that. 3, you can use some pretty cool adapters with it. If you enjoy the control ring feature, you can definitely use that. Otherwise, you can basically turn your mirrorless EOS RP, R5, or R6 camera into a camera that has built-in NDs. That is via Canon's drop-in filter adapter, which I own 2 of. Build quality-wise, you're not really sacrificing all that much. It doesn't look as cool as the RF lens. I definitely will say the RF lens looks and feels better to shoot with in terms of purely just cosmetic purposes. But I think overall results that you get with both lenses are very similar, as you might expect when you're comparing 2 basically identically spec'd lenses. Now some of the cons when it comes to choosing the EF version 1 over the RF, I would definitely say are your lens, the profile of it is just going to be longer, so it's going to be a little bit more front heavy, which can fatigue your wrists a little more quickly. Also, an additional cost of having to buy the adapter, and if you do go with the EF to RF drop-in filter adapter, that's like an extra $300 to $400. The image stabilization has a really weird quirk on all of the EF 24-105s that I've used, and that is when you turn it on, it makes like a really high-pitched kind of dog whistle-y noise. It's not too loud, but it is distracting. And if you're using an on-camera shotgun mic, it might pick it up depending on the microphone you're using. So it is definitely something you can remove in post by targeting that level of frequency and just muting it. But it is something to be aware of with this lens. It gives you a really weird high-pitched sound. Also, the autofocus isn't quite as fast, not as sharp. You aren't able to lock the zoom ring on the EF like you are with the RF, which is actually kind of a helpful feature because I definitely would say that lens creep, especially as you break in your lens creep is very present on the EF 24-105, so just be aware of that. But so yeah, the RF overall, more expensive, sharper, has better image stabilization, especially when paired with like the R5 or R6 that has IBIS. It's got quicker autofocus, way more silent. Image stabilization doesn't make a weird screeching noise. You get a lock. You have a control ring built in. It looks cooler when attached to your camera body, and you're also buying into the newer RF lens lineup, which could be seen as an advantage or disadvantage depending on the way you look at it, because EF has been around for like 30 years. And so there are way more cameras that will take EF lenses than the literally 5 cameras on the market. Like in the history of cameras, there are 5 cameras that will accept a lens that has an RF mount. You got all of the EOS R cameras and the Red Komodo. Of course, as Canon expands their lens lineup and their body selection, RF lenses will become mainstream within the next how many years. But so yeah, you just get to decide, do you want to invest now and start building up your RF collection, knowing that it's not like mainstream industry standard yet, or do you want to continue just building up your EF lens lineup, adapting to your EOS R cameras, and having compatibility with a numerous different amount of cameras? It's up to you. Basically, what I'm going to decide is to go with the EF version because I'm hoping in the future to pick up extra cameras to use alongside my R6, and having the EF mount available to me, I believe will prove to be pretty useful in just opening up my options for selecting a B cam or an A cam to the R6. I also do really like being able to use the built-in ND solution that Canon offers with their adapter. So let me know what you guys think about this video and about just comparing these two lenses. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thanks so much guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.